Welcome to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and I am joined by Manong Jesse from the Metro Chicago area. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you. Now, for those who weren't here earlier, this is the second appearance. The first time we did a show about professional schools, and it was the two of us plus Mike Makita, and that was actually a huge show, so that was a good one.
Yeah, that was great.
And then Eric saying hello from Portland. So anyone who's watching, make sure you let us know what part of the world you are logging in from. I know some people have they say, "Oh, I'm on Facebook." No, parts of the world. So when we had you on last time, we didn't get a chance to really do a deep dive. We did a little gloss over stuff, and because the whole idea was talking about professional schools, and that was the core. And I knew we would have an opportunity to do a deeper dive because you said you're going to come back in, and which was great. There was really good chemistry at that event, and now I am happy that you made it on. And so for those who weren't, you may not have seen, I actually just got back from Barbados. I got in the house at 1:30 in the morning, probably nodded off at 3, and I was up at 7 a.m. to go to my chiropractor. So it's been one of those things. So kept a lot of things going on. I'm surprised I'm still standing, but it just shows you what caffeine can do. And we have a lot of good news about that upcoming shows. We do have the Caribbean Martial Arts Festival, which is going to be the weekend of October 11th and 12th. Those are the days that we're doing the teaching. There may be a third day added onto that. We'll talk about that in the future. And there's plenty of room for those who want to be on board with that. We are finalizing. I'm like 99% sure which place we're using. I'm just waiting for the last contract to be signed before we make any official announcements. If things worked out right, the government may be giving us ground transportation to and from the airport, which is great because that'll save. Each trip is $150 round trip. So it's nice when we can do that. We might even have a venue to do some stuff for the locals. The problem when you're dealing with an all-inclusive resort, they try to be exclusive. And anyone who wants to come on for the seminar for the day, they charge you a $125 entrance fee just to get you access to the facility, and that doesn't cover the seminar fee. So needless to say, we're trying to work some stuff out to make sure that doesn't happen. But in the meantime, let's get into this. So we're going to go as if we haven't had you on the show before. We're just going to start asking questions. So right now, Eric has said hello from Portland, Oregon. We have Sam from Utah. We have Carlos from Philadelphia, and Tim Dobson from the Metro London, Ontario area in Canada. So we've already got 20 some odd viewers. So we're jumping right into it. So let's start off. So you're Filipino. So let me ask the question: were you born here? Born in the Philippines? If you were in the Philippines, how'd you end up in the States? Let's hear it all.
Okay, well, hopefully you can hear me just fine. I got my headsets on, so
All good.
all right. So I was born in the Philippines. I was born in the Northern Territory, in a little town called Sanchez Mira, Cagayan. We are Ilocano, as far as our dialect. And my father actually moved around from job to job, but we moved from Cagayan to another town, then eventually ended up in Manila, Metro
Okay.
Manila. So I went to school in Metro Manila, a little school by by Quezon City, and
Okay.
uh, my father decided at some point to migrate over to Hawaii.
Hmm.
And he actually went first, established a place for us, get a living, and then sponsored us to go over. I think we waited like maybe 2.5 years. Me, my sister, and my mother waited for a little bit, and then transferred, migrated over to Hawaii. So, and I stayed in Hawaii for a few years until yet again, another business move for my father moved eventually to Chicago. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So let me
so
ask you something about that real quick. So, um, it was Professor Price just did that similar procedure for his kids. Um, so was it? I mean, I don't know, and you can say I don't have those details because you don't know. Was it? Did your father choose that strategy so it would be easier for him to get citizenship and then bring you guys over, or was it just trying to trying to find work and obviously having to support a family in a brand new country and stuff like that? So, you know, or was it like I was too young? I don't know.
so none of us were sponsored initially. My father's stepfather actually sponsored him first. He could only get him
Okay.
first, and then eventually, when my father established, residency in Hawaii, that's when he was able to sponsor us to come over. So,
Okay.
uh, yeah, and it was kind of tricky back then. It's not the way it is now, right? So back then was a little bit a lot more hoops you had to go to as far as sponsoring who and when and how and so
Okay.
forth. So yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. So then you ended up in Chicago. That was the whole family ended up in Chicago.
Yes, yes. My father, my mother, my sister, and I. Yes.
Okay. And then you've been there. Have you traveled? Oh, now you served, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
I.
thank you for your service, of course.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Um, and what branch were you in?
So I served in the finest Navy in the world, the United
Okay.
States Navy, for 21 years, 6 months, and 14 days.
Okay. All right. My father was he was in the Naval Air Force. Never flew.
Yay.
Went into law enforcement afterwards, state police. During Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
Um, so all right. Let me. We have Joel Santos from Timmins, Ontario. That's a ways away. Craig Mason from Sudbury. That's 4 hours north of Toronto. 6 hours here is one of my guys. Jeremy Gaudette, one of his guys, same metro area. Sifu Mike Zielinski from West Chicago. Love the show. Thank
Yeah.
you. Do you know Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think I met him once.
Denka Stan. Good evening. Hey, where are you from, Denka? If I'm pronouncing, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Joe. Hey, where are you from, Joe? And from New York, from the Metro New York area, New York City, New Jersey area. Errol, we love Errol.
Yes,
And
sir.
then
Yes, sir.
Jeremiah Bird. And once again, please let us know where you're coming from. It's great to hear from all different parts of the country, and sometimes different parts of the world. So obviously you are a specialist in Filipino martial arts, but you've done other things as well. Um, how did you get into FMA? Was that something family? Was it something? Was it inspired by something else? A combination of both? Love to hear your journey.
Oh gosh, it's a special one for me. Growing up in Hawaii, obviously as a young Filipino, I was bullied a lot. Go figure, right? And didn't really have the means to take lessons or anything like that. So I sat outside of schools and watched people train and so forth, and I did that for many different schools. There's kind of offshoot story, but I'm trying to get to the meat of this here.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
And before the Navy, again, uh, being in the streets quite a bit, you get into fights or scuffles and so forth. So I really wanted to learn to protect myself, and but we didn't, we weren't very rich, so we didn't have the means to kind of send me to a formal school, So I would sit and watch, and hopefully I can, gain something or some knowledge from watching and so forth. Then when I got into the Navy, actually, I was stationed in several places where I had a little bit of resource where I could actually enroll and get into some martial arts. I did Taekwondo, I did some Kung Fu, I did some many different schools actually, and this all started primarily on the West Coast.
Okay.
San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Um, but I want to mention obviously a formal school that I really got into Filipino martial arts, which was the Cepeda Brothers School in San Diego. It's closed now, but I had met some really great people there. Their core, I guess, is Doce Pares, but it was called Arnis de Mano, which
Okay.
is a stem of Babao Arnis, as you know. Um, so I really love that. It was great people there. So I really enjoyed it. Wonderful people that I've met there, and I still connect with them now. But then, the Navy takes you in many different places. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so I travel all over the world. Like I said, Los Angeles, up in Camp Pendleton area, then San Francisco, I would travel there and go to Chinatown and a lot of the people that I met are like through friends, hey, you should go see this person, and go train with them, or go see this person and go train with them, you know. And that happened throughout my career in the Navy, So when I found Cepeda Brothers, it was a friend that says, hey, I have a friend that's also in the Navy, trains Filipino martial arts, and he's in the clinic with me. He said you should go to this school, and that's how it happens, right? You know
Yeah.
someone, and then you go and then you train and so forth. But went to Japan, Okinawa karate. I've stationed in Okinawa quite a bit, a few times. I was primarily stationed with the Marines, so I was a hospital corpsman. I was their medic, right? So uh, I spent most of my career with the Marine Corps, so. Forward deployed, did a lot of operations with them and so forth. So learned not only, the typical line training, it's combat, martial arts for the Marine Corps.
Right.
You did other stuff, did some law enforcement with them and, a lot of different things, while I was stationed in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Uh, Eventually I retired, right? So after I retired, I wanted to relax. My family said it's time for you to, retire, and quickly I retired. And then I kind of, like what typical retirees do, we just sat somewhere and and got old and got fat and got out of shape and forgot about always, going somewhere and doing stuff with the military. But and I kind of faded away from training, right? So I
Okay.
kind of stopped training. I stopped physical training, mental training, all of it. The guns, the bows, the weapons, the martial arts. I stopped for literally 2 3 years. I
Okay.
just sat around and I got a desk job and I was pretty fat and happy, right? But so this is kind of where it turned around for me. I think it was 2013, where uh, we were not home, and a few kids broke into our house and vandalized the house,
Hmm.
tore up all my military pictures and stuff. They torched my laptop that had all the files for my military pictures and videos and pictures of my family and so forth and so forth. And then they torched the house.
Hmm.
So So the house burned down, and I, it was gone. I mean, everything I've had, everything I collected, everything that I acquired and created, they were gone. All my memories, all my medals, my uniforms, everything was gone. So
Hmm.
I was very angry, and I still get pretty emotional when I talk about this, but I was very angry. I wanted someone to pay for this, I wanted to retaliate somehow, right? So, but of course, you can't do that nowadays, right?
No, no.
It's not, so I try to find ways to release the energy, the tension in my brain, and I started running again. I started shooting again. I started looking for a place to train, basically, to get back into doing something, right? I went to Taekwondo schools. I went to Kung Fu schools. I tried boxing. I tried wrestling. I tried just about everything, but it just didn't feel right for me, right? Just didn't feel right. And someone said, "Hey, why don't you go back to your first love?" You know, and I said, "What do you mean?" And it's like, "Why don't you go back to your culture? Why don't you go back to Filipino martial arts?" And I said, "Wow, what a great idea!" So I looked everywhere, looking, for something to like give me a spark, give me, a motivation or inspiration or something like that. And I was perusing YouTube one day, and I saw this old man that was dressed, you know, uh, very military-ish and so forth. So it kind of like drew me in a little bit, right? And he started talking about mindset, and this is what we train, and this is how you get ready, and this is how you prepare for war, and this is what we, I don't know, maybe I was some words he said kind of like clicked in my head, and so I looked him up. I saw his seminar, and I booked a ticket. I asked, "Can I go? Can I be gone for a little bit?" And they said, "Sure, why not? You deserve, vacation time. And I know what you're going through." So I flew, and I met the host from the seminar. Very great man. Treated me well. He said, "You should stay at this hotel room. It's close to the school."
Huh?
And I was there by myself. I actually they dropped me off like 5 or 6 miles away from where I'm supposed to be because I didn't know where I was going.
Wow.
So I walked literally, and I kept asking people, "Is this the way? This the way?" Finally found a hotel, checked in, so forth. I was really tired, and I went to sleep. Woke up in the morning, early in the morning. I think it was like 5:30, and I'm a coffee guy, right? So I needed to like fiend for coffee. I went to go look for coffee. Went down to the lobby because they had free coffee. As I walked by, right, I see this man on the chair, and he had coffee. And he looked at me, I looked at him. It was kind of like that moment, right? And that moment actually changed my life. He looked at me and said, "Are you Filipino?" I said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Are you Filipino?" Jokingly, right? Because I instantly knew who he was. I really honestly knew who he was. And he looked at me, he's like, "Grab coffee, sit down." So I went and grabbed coffee, sat down, and I tell you, Tim, that hour or two, just I hate to use these words, but it did. It set my soul on fire. It was like I knew him all my life,
Okay.
and Grand Tuhan is very charismatic. He uses certain words, and he uses that internal motivation, right, to catch you and capture your attention. We sat there, and he's like, "Jesse, I know you like a son. I know your family. I know where you grew up. I know who you are." And he said, "I know who you're going to be." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Holy cow!" I mean, uh, and I looked him up and I said, this guy's a legend, right? And he's talking to me. He's having coffee with me. And then he said, come on, we'll get a ride to the school. I don't want you to walk. It's hot out there. So took me, had us picked up, went to school, and did the seminar. And I, it was the thing that as if he was teaching me personally, you know. So for me, it was wonderful. It was great. And in between breaks, and of course, when we went back to the hotel, instead of going sleeping, we would chit chat at the lobby and talk some more. And he really just really motivated me, and I said, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is the type of mentality, this is the type of training that I want. And I said, Grant, I gotta go home, after seminar. He's like, no, just stay with me. I said, I can't. I got things to do. And he goes, well, follow me in my next seminar. I said, where is it? And what I did was, I followed him to his next seminar, and then the next seminar, and then he said, Jesse, why don't you stay with me for a little bit, and we could train, we could, do stuff. And I said, for how long? He's like, well, however long you can. And boy, I made some phone calls, Tim. I made some phone calls. Said this legend wants to personally train me and give me his time, and he said, just don't worry about it. Just come and stay with me. And Tim, so I stayed with him. Right?
Yeah, so you haven't mentioned the name, although I think you gave enough hints on this. So I'm assuming that this is Grand Tuhan Leo Guy we're talking about.
Yes, sir. This is the one and only.
I mean, it was when you said military dress, I pretty much knew who it was. Although it could have been his cousin, or uncle. But so let me just get caught up real quick because we've got a lot of people pop on here. So, but wow, holy cow! So Jeremiah, we have Carl, Derek Kalinga, Gandang Gabipo, Alan from Jacksonville, Florida. Good evening. Anna says good evening. Zhao Shang Ho. Good morning, Datu. My name is Nomer, watching from the Philippines. Okay. All right. Cool. Evan Mason from Sudbury, Ontario as well. Joe Gropes. Grosby. Okay. You know him, obviously.
Yes, he's one of the guys. He's one of my gurus.
Troy J from Troy, Milwaukee. Okay, there we go.
Hey, Troy. Yep.
Gerardo I'm also from Chicago. PGM. I am now in Pinas, but I will be back in Chicago in October or March. I did Wing Chun, just trying to copy our niece. It's national sport in the Philippines. Okay. Once again, if if anyone says a keyword, when you type it down there, don't be surprised. So Datu Hartman said, I sent over your message. Take a look. Okay. So certain things like seminars and stuff like that will trigger an automated thing on my Facebook. Just don't be surprised. My brother retired Marine Corps. Okay. Then we have Carl. Holy cow. We got a lot of comments. When you're young, growing up, Filipino boys get so we learn martial arts to defend, not attack. There we go. Actually, no, some of this I got. Okay. Gandang Gabi po. Oh, I'm 64. Thinking of opening our niche school in barangay. Is it too late? In fact, so is that a part of I'm assuming that's a part of the Philippines. And I don't know how. It depends on what you want to do with the school. If you're just sharing the knowledge, I don't think it's ever too late. If you're thinking about making a living, there's things I don't know. But if you're just trying to share your knowledge with future generations, it is never too late. I say, let me see, I stay too personal myself. This Arnice is my teacher master. Okay. Carl, running half a marathon and a full
Oh yeah.
on Jesse Poe. Okay. Sam Wolf from Ohio. Good evening. And then, okay, Eric from Portland is Jesse had a Miyagi moment. Okay. Ryan from Erie, PA. Hey, guys. Jason Arnold from London, Ontario. Evening, brothers. Great to see you on Jesse. Johnny Sack. Good evening from Jacksonville. Good evening from Washington. I don't know how I'm going to pronounce that. And then, hey, Antonio, how you doing? Hello, Masters. So we had a lot of people chiming in. That's cool. That's cool. So we know Pikiti is a huge part of your background, obviously. Are there? Oh, here he goes. Team JRB says, "Hi, Uncle Manong Jesse." From so I'm assuming you know these guys. So
Yes, I do.
So are there any other Filipino martial arts that you are formally trained in?
Well, so like I said, I took Arnis Tomato back in San Diego, and that's again that's Babao Arnis base, right? So I wasn't in that for very long, right? Just enough for a good tour of duty in San Diego. Currently, I'm trying to learn Pambuan Arnis actually with
Okay.
Amaguru Rafi Pambuan.
Yes.
So he's kind of been we've met like 3.5 years ago, and
Yeah.
we clicked right away as well. It's like if you know Amaguru, he welcomes you with that smile and you're hooked. So and I love his family system. Pambuan Arnis. And he loves teaching, and you can tell when he smiles and he does his stuff, and you're like, oh gosh, I want to learn that. I want to know that. Um, so I'm doing that. But in our the school where I teach at, North Shore Martial Arts Academy, we teach JKD Kali, which is a Inosano blend. But the instructors there bring in other stuff with Mars, with Guru Rambaliki, and do Lameko as well. So I'm exposed to a variety of FMA, not only in our school, but when I do our Pagtitipon, we have all these different instructors and showcase their art. We had GM Villasin, Virgil Villasin, come and show us his Balentawak one time, and that was amazing. He tried to make me do it on the beach, and I just, I wasn't very good at it, but hey, I'm gonna keep learning. Right? So I've met quite a other people. We have a pretty big FMA group here in the Midwest, actually. And I've become friends with all of them, and they share every time we gather. They share their art, and of course, it's kind of like exchange of knowledge, right? So, hey, have you seen this move? Or hey, this is what we do, and so forth. So I love that exchange, right? So part of the mission of Paktitipon is the exchange of and showcasing the different martial arts, that we have, and I think we're kind of getting into beyond FMA, because when I go to Colorado in, I think, June 19th, 20th, and 21st, our friends from Success Martial Arts are going to be hosting our Paktitipon there. We have a Silat guy coming, and
nice.
so I can't wait to see that as well. So yeah, lots.
Cool. Duncan is from Illinois. Vernon Hills. J8. What size what size Arnie sticks do you recommend? That is the industry standard is 28 inches. But I'll tell people it's based on arm length a lot of times. I make all my own rattan sticks, so I make them different lengths. I teach children, so I cut them down for their, so for some of the kids, I have 20 or 22s or 23s. It depends on what I'm doing, it depends on, it also depends, here's the thing. Your stick bag is the equivalent of a golf bag. And
Yes.
and we got sticks for everything. So and then when you bust the stick, either sacrifice it to the fire gods or cut it down and use it as a short stick. So I've got some 18-inch kamagong I use periodically, and bahi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I am not a serrata person, but the thing here is, like, if we're talking practical application of our craft, weapons that we're going to see here in North America are probably going to be hammers, wrenches, jack stand. I mean, a lot of small tools. So I would recommend, a variety of stick lengths. Although if you're going to say, the standard, I would start with 28 or 26 to 28. You start with that, and then you experiment with longer sticks and shorter sticks and everything in between. But if you take this seriously, you're going to have more at hand, what to do with. That's
so
all I'm going to
true.
say. I'm not going to say more sticks than you can shake a stick at, because that's, we know that already. But let me see here. I know someone needs to open a school in Virginia or in the DMV. Jason Arnold, Manong Jesse. I hope we can cross paths, have a coffee, and share the mats. And then,
Absolutely, Jason. Absolutely.
And Kempo Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. Cool. Trust me, there's lots of projects we're talking about for a lot of different things. So don't be surprised who you see where, because it's always about the end goal, which is bringing the heightened awareness for Filipino martial arts, no matter what the system is. The good
Yes,
thing
sir.
about when Professor Pracis would do a seminar, he helped a lot of people who were doing Filipino martial arts, but not his own. And then people don't like, well, what do you mean? I go, like, he would come and do a seminar in a town for a karate or taekwondo school, and people would be excited, or you saw magazines and videos, you got really excited about it. So then you look in your area, and if there was no one that was teaching his style, but it was teaching another style, you would go into that, and he knew, I mean, everywhere he went, people do so. Like right now with my social media, a lot of people reach out to me and they're like, hey, where do you live? Buffalo, New York. Oh, you're too far away. Okay, well, I can hook you up with my online university. Oh, sure, no problem. Hey, where would I go training in person? Well, where you're at. And I've helped, actually, if you talk to TSR Kalia in New York, they have gotten the bulk of my referrals, because just coincidentally, the New York City area is where a lot of people have been, and Errol, I've tried to send him some people as well, because it's all based on proximity. I go, are you here? And I know TSR Kali was like, dude, we've gotten a lot lately. Yeah. Did they mention my name? Actually, they did. And but the thing here is, I mean, even to the point where I was in the Philippines, someone reached out and met me there, and I took him to Redel de Guck, because it's like, hey, you're looking for a place what are you doing Sunday? Well, nothing. I go, okay, we're going to Luneta Park. I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite guys, and they wanted to find what was as close to what I did as possible. Now, but there's still, you've got Redel de Guck, you've got the Kiro guys, where Sir Arnold, which I'm a huge fan of Arnold Nazo. Now, I know there's a lot of different branches of all these different arts, but if you're talking about Tony Diego's lineage, I met Tony Diego shortly. I got to meet him before he passed. And ever since I was going to the Philippines, while he was alive, Tony was there, but Arnold always started things up. And Arnold's always been there. I think there's only one trip I went to the Philippines that he wasn't there in. And it's constantly the same spot. He keeps doing the art. I don't know about other people, other branches. He's my guy, and but the thing is, if you want, but some people are like, well, I want more edge weapons. I want more impact weapons. I want more open hands. And that answer is different because each person has their own specialty. But the thing here is someone does a seminar, everyone gets exposed, and a rising tide raises all ships. And that's the good thing about all these seminars. Because obviously you just were down in Florida recently, right?
Yes, sir. So Amaguru Rafi Pambuan and his crew hosted the Southeast Pagtitipon, and we had along myself, Amaguru Rafi, we had Tuan SD, Sadiq Muhammad, we had also Tuan Kenny Rearson, and we had GM Bruce Chu that I met for the first time. And my gosh, we are so alike, man. We're gonna hang out at his place pretty soon because he's a great guy. He's a cool guy, man. I love the way he taught. I love what he presented, and he's just a really nice guy, you know. So
there you go.
I love doing these Pagtitipons because I get to meet these new people and you know and get some good ideas from them and get, you know, great knowledge from them, you know. So love it.
And I'm assuming everywhere you go with these events, they probably get some newbies that see this and go, and then they get to meet local contacts. So if they want to continue their education, they have those opportunities.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the valuable things about Pagtitipon. People come check it out, and the first time they're doing it, I met so many students that were just starting out and wanting to get their journey going, and so now they have options and they make connections. And oh, I have a guy in Georgia. You should connect with them in Georgia, you know, or down in southern Florida. You know, go down there. You know, so because you know, like
that's a very valuable lesson because you know, here's the thing, like, and I've done this before. People will come into my town, or actually people in the Metro Buffalo area, they'll reach out to me, and they'll sit there and they'll say, "Hey," they'll tell me where they're at. I'm like, "That's a long ways to travel. There's 4 other schools in between you and I. If you're just looking for training, there's places more convenient. Or are you specifically looking for Filipino martial arts?" And I'm getting more and more people reaching out specifically for Filipino martial arts. The percentage is increasing, but a lot of people are like, oh no, you know, you show up really well in the search engines. So I mean, I've had my URL for my school forever today. So I've got great people do my website. So I show up very strong in martial arts and the martial arts search. So I'm open to people say, hey, there's a school right around the corner from your house. Oh, okay, that's great. Thanks a lot. Then I'll have some guy calling in and come over. Go, yeah, you know, my cousin told me about you. Okay, they train here? No. But they reached out to you, and then you referred them someone that was much closer to the house, and they sit there and go, and he referred me to you because you're much closer to my house than the school that his son's at. I'm like, okay, because obviously in some areas, I mean, martial arts convenience is part of this. You know, some people don't mind commuting if they're looking for a specific art, but when we refer to each other, it once again rising tide, and everyone understands. Hey, you know what? Hartman doesn't work for me because he's in the wrong place geographically. But if I ever know someone in that area, I'm going to refer him because of how nice he was. He tried to help me out, blah, blah, blah. And I get that all the time with other people as well. So let me see here. Okay, J8. What brand of straight blades do you like? And have you ever purchased a Gil Hibben knife? Okay, if you're looking for never owned a Gil Hibben knife, but worth checking out, Datu has referred students to me before. Yes, yeah, and so he's in Seattle. Oh no, he's in Portland, Oregon, and he's got students because of referring. So, and obviously, but so straight blades, my thing, it's got to feel right. I mean, there's certain brands I look at. It's always going to be about the construction, and it also depends on what I'm trying to do. If I'm using like something, so if I'm working the backyard, I like a beefier knife because I might use it for a chopping tool. If I was doing some bushcraft stuff, there's different blades I would do. If you're talking about a weapon, I am definitely more of a fixed blade than a folder, but it's much, much harder to covertly carry that fixed blade because it's fixed. So I travel over state lines a lot driving. So I will put a bunch of fixed blades in my car if I decide, once in a while, need to take a break and take a nap somewhere. I can't carry firearms over the state line. I mean, the rules are all different. The laws are. So I don't travel with firearms. I mean, I have them, but I go to too many different places. So I like a K-bar. That's a really, really good knife. But once again, not a good knife to put in your back pocket. So it depends on what you're looking for. But what about you, Manong, Jesse here? What do you look for in a straight blade?
So, blades are my thing. I'm kind of a geek when it comes down to blades, right? So, I happen to know some folks that help me make blades of my design and of my friends. So, I have here talking about a blade. This is the Combat Warrior Academy Sabayan, right? And it's made for multiple purposes. So this is robust enough to use for outdoor survival, because obviously we teach that, right? So we also, it's very tactical as well. It's not too long, and we have a thing where we carry it around our necks, right? We have breakaway strings that if it gets pulled, it breaks away, so you don't get choked. But out in a field, this is pretty handy. It's pretty thick. This one is, I think, close to 3/8 inch. It's pretty thick. I've taken a lot of trees down with this, actually, right? But this is the kind of straight blades I like. That is, for me, it's personalized. I chose the proper steel. This one is 3V, and if you guys are blade geeks like myself, this is CPM 3V, and you know how robust that is. This was made by Gunfighter Customs, which is, he's a veteran. He's a Marine, former Marine, and he has Gunfighter Customs as his business, and he makes blades for Combat Warrior Academy. This is one of many blades that I've designed that some of my friends have made for me, right? So, but if you're talking, he have a website? Yes, I will put it up on the chat. Okay. But if you look up Gunfighter Customs, yeah, if you look at Gunfighter Customs on Facebook, he'll pop right up. So, and Jeremy just asked that, where can I find a Sabayan blade? So, but going a little bit bigger as far as a straight blade, Dr. Tim, I know you would like this one. This is the version that I created, right? And this is a Ginunting based design, right? This is for us to use. And my friend, Gordon Keyforge, made this for me. I kind of helped him design, and I created this with him. So I dipped it and created it and put the soul in it. So these are the kind of blades that I like to carry, are the ones that are very personal to me, right? That I help create. So, but this is a really nice. I've got some cutting videos out there if you guys want to check it out. I'm on TikTok, right? So look under Combat Warrior Academy. I've made a lot of cuts with this, and this thing cuts like crazy. And when I put this out on Instagram, I think we are up to maybe, I'd like to say 20 orders on these already for the past year. So this is a great design, very thin, very fast, very light, and you can change the handles if you like. So I know one of my students, Anya, I think she said hello on the chat here. She has one that has Coco Bolo handles. Oh my God, it's beautiful. So, but it bears the mark of the Kalirungan mark. You could choose to have that on your leather or etched on the blade itself if you want. I also can etch the Baybayin lettering of Kalirungan on here. But yeah, I can go on for days talking about the blades that we have made. That's just because, hey, you wouldn't be an FMA if you didn't like blades. And speaking of blades, I think everyone would say this is cool. This looks like a rattan stick, right? Well, this one is a blade. And
Oh,
this
nice.
one is special because this is Damascus blade. This was folded over, oh gosh, I keep forgetting how many layers we folded this over. But you can see the waves on the blade right there. So,
Mhm.
yep. So Anya just said that, yep, her blade is
Yeah,
beautiful. Yep.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but this one I got from someone, I forgot who. I got so many blades, but this one really clicks in. It doesn't fall out. Solid piece of metal on here, Damascus, and it looks just like a rattan stick. So not that I would carry this out there, right? Because any stick you carry with any kind of design, people think it's a weapon or whatever.
yeah.
Um, but you're right, Tim. I do like to carry fixed blade more so than folding blades, but there are some great folding blades out there that would stand some heavy duty use as well. So,
Yeah, I mean, once again, everything, for anyone who's watching or thinking about this, it's they're all different tools. You got to figure out what job you need it for, and
yep.
um, I carry a tactical blade, Columbia River. Was it what they call it now? CRKN
CRKT.
CRT.
Yep.
Yeah, I've always
CRKT.
known them as
Yep.
Columbia River before they rebranded. Columbia River Tool and Die, or
Yep. Yep. I remember that.
I was like, hey, this is so. I mean, I've got a really nice knife I carry that's discontinued. It fits in my hand well. I love those knives because they are inexpensive and durable as all hell. They're not. I think there's a lot of blades over there that are out there that are just you're paying too much for the name and not enough for substance. And
Yep.
I know some people, they carry a knife. They go, I don't carry anything I wouldn't throw away. Uh, you can get in trouble with that because a lot of those knives are cheap and they'll fall apart in your hands. And I've got an old acquaintance of mine who's a PTK guy, and he would talk about that. And I'm like, you've got the shittiest knives out there. Now, since then, he's leveled up. But I mean, and some of these knives are really cool for different purpose. But I'm like, dude, he bought a lot of Pakistani knives, and those things are just notorious for falling apart. Um, something you get at one of those knife shops that just not a cutlery store, but one of those cheap knife shops that uses Bud K a lot for all their stuff. Not that Bud K doesn't have good stuff, but and someone asked about Gil Hibben. Gil Hibben has good blades, but a lot of people who make the blades for Gil Hibbens, they're not the same quality. Like if you had a Gil Hibben custom, oh my God, it's amazing. But United Cutlery is not the same quality of blade. And even though they're licensed to do his blades, that's a nice one.
So this one is called the CWA Pikiti. See the theme? Like we got the CWA Sabayan, now you got
Yeah.
the CWA Pikiti. So yeah, and this one's a reverse grip pakal knife. So this one actually, Tim, I carry in my pocket. It's small enough
Okay.
I can carry in my pocket. I can pull it out. I also use a clip sometimes to put on my belt. And this is a very nice blade, but in most states it's illegal because it's a little bit more than the 3 inches that most
Now,
states
here's what I'm going
require.
to say. Here's whatever. Okay, well, now we're not giving advice. We're talking about what we like to carry, and just made a comment. Now I'm going to do a clarification comment about that. That may or may not be illegal because knife laws change not only state to state but county to county. So this is a not. I think this is a knockoff of a Gerber. I got this on Temu. I just tried a couple of knives. This is not a
Oh,
switchblade or a
nice.
stiletto. This is a cam assisted blade. Probably
Yep.
paid $10 for it. I don't expect much. The thing here is it doesn't open up by itself. It gets to a point and it's cam assisted. When they first came out, I know the Kershaw had a whole bunch of their knives. The story was that they were all confiscated. I think it was the Ken Onions came out, and because it was cam assist, when the cams first came out, they all got confiscated until they looked at the letter of the law. And it's like, no, there is no button. What happens is it opens up to a certain level, and then the rest of it goes. A lot of it in New York State is about deployment, not necessarily about size. Not to say that size isn't a factor, but here's the thing. Police officers have the right to confiscate anything they want.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
then
sir.
you have your day in court, and you may get that back because they may not be confiscating it properly. What you have could be legal, but the thing here is they're trying to do their best to protect the community. And if they don't know about something, they're going to confiscate it. They're going to pull it in, and then you have your day in court, and they can figure out what's what. I know that can be an inconvenience, but there's some things out there that shouldn't be. And there's certain people out there that should never, have things. Unfortunately, there's no rules about carrying. There's nothing that disqualifies a particular person from carrying a knife. There are for firearms. You can be on a list that you will never be able to carry a firearm, but there's nothing stopping anyone from carrying a blade and other sorts of things. So last time before COVID, when I taught down there, the guys say, "Hey, Datu Tim," I go, "What's up, guys? You know that Texas, they just passed a law you can carry a sword on your back. Would you like to carry a sword on your back?" I'm like, "Well, it depends on what. You still do firearms down here?" "Hell yeah." They go, "No, I want a gun. I don't want a sword." You burn that pig sticker to a gunfight, that's my life. And now, I've been shooting since I was 5 years old because my dad was a trooper. I think his 8 was the first time I hit something other than the ground. I always hit something because gravity works. But I started shooting long before I did hand-to-hand combatives. And, I have a huge respect for them. Then that being said, not everything merits that type of response. And we'll end it there. But when it comes to any of the weapons and the tools that we're talking about, we are not talking about laws. We're talking about our personal preferences and some of the things that, like, I've got switchblades. I don't carry them. And the funny thing is, where I bought my first switchblade, I bought it legally in Germany. Now in Germany, if a knife can be opened one-handed, it is no longer legal. I'm like, you had switchblades. They can't do a cam. They can't do a hole. They can't do a stud. I have to go like this. And if this has a stud right here. Even without the cam, this knife is now considered illegal in the same country that I legally purchased a fully functioning switchblade prior to COVID. And I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever. But the thing here is, it doesn't matter whether it makes sense. It's the law, and we got to know whatever we're doing, are we breaking it or not? We don't have to agree with it, but we got to make sure, are we in compliance or not? Okay, so I got 2 other questions for me. I have a mission statement. So I'm going to go with the secondary one first because if I can't believe no one's mentioned this yet. But I see that bow and that rig behind you. And I'm surprised that no one's mentioned, like, hey, what's with the archery setup? So talk about the archery setup.
Well, so we have an archery program at North Shore Martial Arts Academy. It's a great program, and it really ties into how I teach and how I develop our warriors, right? So, and we only do traditional archery. We do recurves and longbows. We don't do compound bows, all right? The way we teach it, we kind of induce mental control into our archery, right? We have this like step by step. I think it's a 12-step procedure where we go from knocking an arrow into releasing the arrow, and then the mental state that you go through as you shoot. But I think it really complements the learning, the growth of the warrior, right? I have a lot of kids that are under 15 that shoots in our archery program, but then they also bring their parents. So so it's kind of cool for I see mom and dads and their kids, and dad and sons, mother and son shooting in our program, and we take trips as well. We go to different 3D ranges, and we expose the shooters to outdoors and walking the trail in a different scenario, getting up on a tree stand, on the elevated stand, shooting downwards, shooting upward, and you don't know the distance. It takes a lot of, and this is where we use the word PMA, right? Positive mental attitude, to knock an arrow, shoot it, and if it doesn't go where you want it, to have the confidence enough and the positive mental attitude to go to the next target and do it again and try your best again. I remember, I think Denka, he's here. He's 12 years old, right? He's been training with me since he was 5, right? His mother's been training with me a little bit longer than that, but I remember the first time we went to outdoor range. He told me, he's like, "Too much, Jesse. I think I lost a dozen arrows today." And then months later, as he got better, he's like, "Hey, Tuhan, I only lost 3 arrows today." And then after that, he's like, "Hey, guess what, Tuhan?" I'm like, "What?" "I didn't lose any arrows today." I'm like, "Wow, I should learn from you." And he was so excited. He was like, "Oh, even when I was on the elevated stuff, I did lose the arrow. I hit the target." And I'm like, "My," I love seeing that from these kids. And then even the parents, the parents that I've never shot before, they're like, "Oh man, this is great," being outdoors. And we do winter shoots as well, where we go out and shoot in the snow. And I've lost a few arrows in the snow, man, because sometimes it's cold out there, and you just can't see, digs into the snow, and you're like, that's an arrow that's gone. But we do indoor 3D shoots as well. But I think archery was shared with me by my father, as he was a hunter, and I've kind of taken that on. The military kind of put all that aside, because you don't have that much time to physically go and hunt. While you're in the military, you have a few days here and there, and you want to spend time with your family. But it was shared with me by my father, and I still have his old compound bow in the garage. So, but we use recurves and longbows in our program, and we actually have an archery range inside the school. So
what do you do, like 30 pounds inside the school?
So we have a curtain that prevents the arrows from going through. I think we had one bow that actually went through the curtain, and that was because it skidded off the side of the target, and then it kind of propelled it, and accelerated it. But typically, we shoot 30, 35. I shoot a 45-pound bow through there. I've shot a 56-pound bow there. But the idea is not to miss the target, and the targets that we use can probably take a pretty decent arrow speed. So, but usually the kids are like 25, 30 pounds. Nothing really heavy. Starting adults usually. Yep, it's called the combat archery, right? Combat. Again, the theme is Combat Warrior Academy, right? So we do all these things. So it's combat archery.
Do you also do? I mean, I'm sorry. You do the against each other. Like there is, they make foam arrowheads.
Foam, yes,
and shoot at each other.
Yep. We're eventually going to do that. It's just again, it'll take some time to get some good training, and But we have the space for it at the school. That's going to be great. But right now we do shooting around a tree, shooting different
Okay.
position, kneeling, sitting. I even let them shoot lying down on their back one time on a bench, and they were amazed how they could hit the target. So, but we're eventually moving to that where we'll have team competitions and have the foamies go around. My bow maker, actually, we did that at his place. I have a guy that does my custom bows for me. He had that, and we tried it out, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got to introduce this to the school. So, um, but pretty soon we'll have that. I think the kids would love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be bummed. I mean, I'm shooting a compound bow right now, so losing arrows are a very pricey proposition when you use them.
Yes, it is.
Like when I started, we took a sapling. I took nylon cord. We made our own bows. We shot with reeds, and then somebody bought an arrow. Someone bought a bow. Someone got hit with a training arrow, and then that all went out the window. Because we're Gen Xers. We're like, oh well, we're shooting the reeds at each other. Let's shoot the regular arrows at each other. Survey says, and wrong answer. And then
Yeah.
Chris God says, Pugai Kapatid Jesse. So,
Yeah, well, that's Kuya Guru Chris from Pampawang Arnis from Orlando.
oh,
So
nice, nice, nice. I'm
that,
actually going to be
yeah.
down there in July. I'm at the Maya conference and the U.S. Open. So,
Oh, nice, nice,
yeah,
nice,
I
nice.
haven't seen Rafi in a while. Just the events and scheduling and stuff. Was he working for Disney or was he working on a cruise?
He was the head chef for Universal. He's retired
Universal.
now.
Okay.
Yep. So he's increasing his tour, his seminars. So if you guys are interested in Amaguru Rafi, I'm telling you, once you meet him, you will never forget him, and you will always want to be
No,
around him.
you won't. I've seen
Yeah.
him do his. I've seen him do the coconut dance, which is interesting, and
Uh-huh.
he's very accurate with his whips.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh
talked to
yeah.
him a couple times. He was friendly with Professor Prasis, and last time I saw him was at Bobby Tabuada's birthday camp. I think that was the one that both of us were teaching at together.
Yep, and they just finished the Soki Leadership Council
Yeah,
seminar or what event a couple weeks ago, I think.
they're a Hall of Fame thing, and
Uh-huh. Yep.
yeah. Okay, well, the last thing I have on my list, and of course we're definitely talking about some things that you want to talk about as well. But I mean, how did you end up in North Shore? Your relationship
Well,
with that academy?
so when I was handling Grand Tuhan, right? We did a seminar in the military base down there in Great Lakes, and the owners from North Shore came down and reached out to me and said, "Hey, can we come by and say hello?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So, and I've known Mark doing many different events together, gathering martial arts and stuff like that. He came down and kind of developed a relationship, and we've been friends for a very long time. And he said, you should bring Grand Tuan over to North Shore, blah, blah, blah. And at that time, he said, Jesse, would you want to start a Bikini program here in North Shore? I said, I would love to. I'm just so busy with taking care of Grand Tuan. We got a robust schedule. We're doing this city, that city, and I'm never home. And if we are home, because Grant Tone used to stay at my house for months at a time in between seminars and so forth, um, we wouldn't really start a program. We could do like maybe a weekend seminar or every once in a while because he's pretty busy with privates and all that. And then and we did a couple years ago. We had an event. It's called. It was Chicago FMA event that Mark and a few of the other practitioners around the area put together. They invited me, and I was available, and I said, sure, I would love to come by and share some stuff. And Uh, as soon as I finished that event, the Mark and his business manager approached me and said, "Hey, I know you're busy, but if you could give us a day or two, we would love for you to start a program here at North Shore." And I was able to move stuff around because I still do the tactical stuff. I do uh, train firearms and do courses at a gun range here in Lake Forest, Illinois. So I'm quite busy, and I did my own seminars, and of course the Pagtitipon and stuff like that. But I was able to find some time to do a couple days there, and that was, oh my gosh, that was three years ago. I mean, time
Okay.
flies. But Mark's a great guy. I mean, Guru Mark Halleck, you should have on your show. He's a great guy. He's been training everything. Like seriously everything. We were talking about kukri. He's like, "Oh, did you know I did this with this?" I'm like, and he does, all these other martial arts. Balintawak with Lameko and all these. So he knows quite a bit. He has a DVD series for Panantukan, really good DVD series. He has one for Hammer Defense, which are you talking about, right? Nobody's going to carry RD stick around, right? They're going to carry what? All the
Mhm.
smaller objects. So he has a great video out for Hammer Defense. He uses the hammers with FMA themed counters and stuff. So it's pretty good. But Jason, our business manager there, really was. He sold me. He said, "Jesse, this is it. We'll move stuff around for you based on your schedules and whatever other program you want to start." And I said, "You know what? It's time. It's time for me to get a schedule going instead of moving around so much and going all over the country. I wanted to stay home more, anyways. The gun range was getting really, really, really busy. My private lessons there is crazy busy." Um, so yeah, 3 years ago, and I said, okay, I'll stay put and teach a couple nights, and that's
Okay.
where actually Pagtitipon was born. Is that talking to Guru Mark and say, hey, let's do this. Let's bring all these. In the beginning it was all the FMAers, right? Bring them here. We'll do an event, and then we'll do it every year, and then but next thing you know, Amaguru's like, well, let's bring it to Orlando. And then Tuan Sadiq said, well, let's bring it to Maryland. And, now we're doing it in Colorado. We're trying to get it in San Diego, Arizona. I'm talking with someone for Canada. We're going to try to do it there. Hopefully, Datu Tim, maybe could host one over where he's at someday. So we just, the goal is to share, right? To share all these different arts that we have in not only FMA, because I think it's bigger now. I mean, Pagdimon means gathering, but I would love to see all kinds of stuff that's being shared out there, because I think martial arts is a way of life, and that's what Kali Rongan is all about, is training, a way of life, not just self-defense or the way to fight, right? It's leadership, it's personal growth, it's the understanding of becoming a teacher, actually, right? So you learn martial arts to teach, to mentor, so all of that, so, so yeah, kind of long-winded, but that's how I kind of, got with Guru Mark. We've known each other for a very long time, and I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't Guru Mark, because Guru Mark's just really a great guy. I can't say enough about Guru Mark. He's really a great guy.
Now, how many days a week are you teaching there?
So I started with 2 days. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 to 7:30, we do Pikiti, right? But we're transitioning to, because people wanted to see more, and I don't have more days. So we've kind of transitioned to Kali Rongan, which is kind of the dynamic integration of multiple disciplines into, they wanted to see this. So I'm like, you know what? Let's change it and let's not just say Pikiti. They can talk to me if they're prospective students, and I'll explain to them what Kali Rongan is. And then we do archery and stick fighting and a little bit of more Kali Rongan on Sundays. So Sunday's a great day, man. We got we got kickboxing, Muay Thai from 9 to 10, and from 10 to 1 we have the stick fighting, the kalirungan, the archery, and then I also do privates there sometimes on Sundays. So, but yeah, so it's slowly transitioning where I'm doing this. As I retire from my regular job, I'm gonna slowly do this full time. I
Okay.
haven't had the opportunity to do this full time yet, so I
Okay.
want to give myself the opportunity to, do what I love. And I'm telling you, I told Grad Tuan one time, Grad Tuan, you're keeping me alive. All the anxiety, all the anger that I had after the house burned down, you're teaching me to stay calm and stay steady and just keep training. And I tell you, I haven't stopped since. So
Well, I get that. Did they ever find the people who did that to your house?
they did.
Okay.
They did. Yep. Couple kids.
And okay, well,
Yeah.
it's good that they caught him. Um, I mean, you look now. Do you have a family? Oh, did I lose you?
I do. I do. I yeah, I do. So that's kind of the reason why, I wanted to stop moving around so much and kind of stay home more. You know, I have 3 daughters and 1 son, right? So,
That's a handful.
and my son is oh yeah, trust me, I know. I know. So my 2 daughters, the 2 olders they're living their best lives. They're out there doing big stuff. And my youngest daughter is graduating from college in December. So that's great. And then my son he just became a senior in high school. He's really big into sports. He's a uh, 3 sport athlete. So he does lacrosse, wrestling, and football. He did
Nice.
one year, sophomore year, he did, sophomore or freshman year, he did track and field and went downstate for that. I mean, this kid's just a natural athlete. So it keeps me busy with, watching all his games if I can. But we're in the process of visiting colleges now to see where he wants to go. So. Um,
There you go.
Said, when you go to college, I do this full time. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So that's covered everything I had. What are some things are there any projects that you want to talk about while we're here? Something that's upcoming uh, or like, or, something along what do we got next? What's on your
Okay.
seminar or event docket?
Yep. So the next one is, like I said, in Colorado, right outside of Denver, with Success Martial Arts. It's
Okay.
another episode of Pagtitipon. I think we have like 5 instructors or 4 instructors with one guest instructor, the CLAT guy.
Okay.
June 19th, 20, and 21st.
Okay.
So this is a 3-day event, actually. So it mirrors what we do at North Shore Martial Arts Academy, where we do a 3-day event. Um, and that's in June. In July, we are hosting, North Shore Martial Arts Academy is hosting GM Bobby Tabuada. Uh, uh, that is, I believe, July 19th and 20th. And
Okay.
then uh, in August, we have a free event in Jacksonville Beach, Jax Beach. And this is a yearly event that we do. It's the Katipunan event where we have a 1 day, all day, where we have multiple instructors teaching, an hour session and sharing their art. So it's a free event. All you got to do is get there. We do have some hotel discount codes that we can share with you all. But usually we do like a meet and greet the Friday before the event. The event is on Saturday, and then we go to dinner, and then Sunday is free for either travel or if you want to explore Jacksonville or go elsewhere and so forth. So we
Okay.
got June, July, August, and there's a few
And
things
where
brewing
would
for
they find these
September,
events
but
online?
so On Facebook, we have Katipunan NA. NA stands for North America. I usually put the events there. Also, if you follow me on Facebook, I put all the events there. I am revamping my website so I can incorporate all of these different things that we do. I do Combat Warrior Academy where we do camps, um, and we do outdoor survival, archery, firearms, medical. We do medical, So I'm a combat corpsman, so I show you a few things for uh, outdoor trauma and so forth. Um, and we do team building, and that's usually pretty cool to see. But then I take you guys out in the woods and see if you can put in practice what we train, at the academy. Um, and there's going to be one probably September, October for a skill development basic level 1 course for the academy, and that's in northern Wisconsin. So late September, October could be really cold. So, but it's a great way to start a fire and get really warm and cozy with your friends. So
there you go.
um,
So is this?
Yep.
Let me see if I get this right here. Hold on. Let me share a screen window. Is this the group right here?
Yes, sir. That's the group.
All right.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
So right now, what we have on deck, so we've got Bows to Bastons. That's tonight's show. Spotty Daga coming up. Rocky Mountain.
Yep, that's the one that's next. Yep.
Balancing on the Edge.
And then
Urban
everybody can post their stuff there. If you want to post your event there, feel free. And the whole idea with this is to share and give and so forth. And there's a lot of folks here that actually share their events on here. I've shared some of your events here, Datu Tim, and yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Actually, a lot of good stuff.
Okay, there we go. And there we go. Great. So it's definitely check out the resource. We all have our own websites and stuff, and Facebook pages, but no one's got everything on there. So always look around. And of course share wherever you can, because you never know who's going to see something. I once in a while, it's like I find stuff after the fact. I'm like, God damn it, I would have went to that. I know your event in Chicago, I forgot what was going on, but we were talking about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm out of town teaching the same time you were doing something, or vice versa, or Oh, actually, no, you're it was the same weekend as our anniversary camp. I think that was that we did in
yeah, we were in Orlando.
Yeah. So, but it's what happens. It's just the way it is. So you share what you can and you go from there. So let's. I think I know the answer. I got one or two answers in my head, but for your martial arts, who do you think is the single most person? What do you think is the biggest influence on your martial arts? Like, whom put you in the direction, that you're, going? I mean, I'll tell you point blank, for a living person, it was Professor Praces for me. I started with Remy Praces. All right, started in a modernity school. An acquaintance of mine told me about the school. Didn't even tell me what the style was. I showed up, and then I was about a year in. The instructor and I were going in two different directions. I had left, and Professor Praces reached out to me and said, "If you want to continue the art, you will be my personal student." Changed my life completely. So I know I can say it was him. Now, there's a lot of enhancements, and there's people that have contributed different things in my life, and I can't give one person, but the biggest course, I don't want to say course correction, but I was kind of unfocused for a while, and that gave me direction. And it was just a passion that I wanted to do. I didn't even care about doing it as a business, but it was Remy for me. Who was your person?
I have to say Grand Tuhan, Leo T. Guy Jr. He's kind of reinvigorated me, set my soul on fire, trained me to what I am, now as a practitioner, actually. He taught me not only Pikiti Tarsha, but he taught me how to live, and to kind of go out and get it. He has a way to motivate you, and I credit everything that I am now to him as far as my FMA, my martial arts journey, right? So he's the one that kind of brought me back, and got me started again. And he continues to guide me, and we talk, as often as we can. And he
Nice.
continues to inspire me, you know. Uh, but I can't just say it's him, because, like you said, there's a lot of people that influence you.
Right.
Now the most influential currently in my journey, and that has bestowed the title Manong to me, which is an honor, and I carry it because I carry Tuhan. It doesn't mean that it went away. I use Tuhan to honor GT. He was kind enough to give that to me, so I promulgated Pikiti Torshakali for a very long time, and I will still continue to do that, right? But I'm a guru, Rafi Pambuan. He calls me kapatid. As you guys know, it means brother. But he is my mentor. He is my teacher. But I think the most important part, he is my friend. And he continues to give me wise words to continue my path. When he said, Jesse, you're gonna create Kali Roman, I said, he literally said, I'm getting goosebumps. I've been waiting for you to do that, because, it's you, you got to do who you think you are. And with that, you should be called Mano, because you're an older brother, an uncle, an elder, and you're putting all of it together and defining it and then teaching it the way you want to. I said, he said he was getting goosebumps. He loved it. And uh, to me, that was a great honor. And I will carry the name Manong Jesse in honor of, I'm a guru. He's a friend, but, he's a mentor as well. So um, uh, I'm very traditional in that sense when it comes down to respect. It's the Filipino in me, right? I can't go to my grandmother's house and not giving her full respect, calling her Lola and all that stuff. So really, and Manong is what we use in the northern territory. It's Ilocano based. It's the same meaning as kuya in Tagalog. So it's older brother, respect of a gentleman, in a group, in a family setting, right? So, but those two in my martial arts journey have been the ones that have really influenced me. They both continue to inspire me. They both are very good at what they do. Grant Tuhan, when I was getting thrown by him, and he was what, 80 years old, he was throwing me around. I was like, how is this man throwing me around like this? And it wasn't like I was letting him, because I didn't know what was coming, you know. And then when you touch hands with Amaguru Rafi, especially his knife work, yeah, it's amazing. It's so unlike uh, uh, any other thing I've seen. And the way he teaches it with that smile, with the passion that he has. He can't, when we do our Prakti Deepan, when he's done with his hour, you know what he's doing on the sidelines? He's teaching somebody else. So he just doesn't stop. Same thing with Grant Tuan. Grant Tuan, we used to wake up at midnight and say, Jess, are you tired? I'm like, yes, sir, I'm tired. It's like, let's go get coffee. And then, we would train, and then we would talk about life, and then he'd wake me up again at 4 o'clock in the morning, and have some more coffee, and train some more. So I've been blessed by, both of them, to have them mentor me and guide me in my journey, right? And I tell everyone here to define your own journey, right? Don't sit around and wait, right? Go out there and get it, right? If you want it, you can do it. It's just how you put it all together and make it work for you. So
Cool. Cool.
Then that's it. That's it. That's me. I'm still learning. I'm still moving forward. I do love teaching. I love inspiring people, make them think a different way than the traditional way, but kind of put in a traditional sense into how we teach. And that's, I think, what's making Kali Rungan a little bit different. Amaguru said, Jesse, the way you teach it, how you blend it's kind of a unique. And I said, no, I'm just putting everything I've learned together and the way I, regurgitate it, because this is how I would like it. And so he's like, oh, it's like peanut and butter and jelly, right? You put them together, it tastes great. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice. All right. Let me see. Actually, the only last comment was that Tim Dobson said, "Oh, lacrosse. That is mint. Lacrosse is Canada's national sport, not hockey, like some people think." Right.
I love lacrosse. Yeah, I think it's better than football. It's much faster. It's much more aggressive. I love it.
So Buffalo Bandits, they three-peated 3 years back to back. They are the national champions. Just last week, I think it was. So we have the champs. So
nice.
I tell you, indoor lacrosse is amazing. Absolutely.
Oh,
amazing.
God, that is fast.
Yes. We also used to have an indoor arena football. That was crazy fast as well. I love the fast-paced tempo. So when you watch more like we see collegiate level, nothing against the kids, you got a much bigger space. Just like I've saw a lot of arena sports, arena football, arena soccer, arena lacrosse. My God, what amazing tempos! You blink and you just miss something. So, but that's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, listen. We will definitely keep people updated. Now, what is your website so people know how to reach out to you?
So it was Combat Warrior Academy. I brought it down because I'm adding all the other stuff, and I'm gonna have a new host to host the website, but it will be combatwarrioracademy.com.
Okay, so you still keep the URL. You're just in the process.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Happy birthday! Is that your birthday or my birthday?
Oh, I don't know. It's not my birthday.
My birthday was May 7th, so I don't.
Oh, okay. My birthday was May 20th, so.
Okay, there you go. Oh, good. They're giving us belated birthdays, so I finally turned 60 this time. So, but that's okay. It just gives me an excuse to complain once in a while. All right. Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap things up. Stay on for a moment afterwards because we always do a little going through some things afterwards, debriefing. So everyone listening, this is always a pleasure discussing Filipino martial arts, building our community, more contacts here, another resource for all of us to tap into. In the Chicago area, definitely there's an I don't want to say new. He's been doing it for several years now, but now our network knows about him. Just like with Mr. Makita and others, as we have more people on there, more things coming out in the future. So as always, this is a pleasure. And let me get this set up straight so I can do it the proper way, because I always sometimes are a little slow. All the buttons aren't where they're not. They keep updating the software. So this is Dr. Tim and my special guest, Manong Jesse. All right. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and stay sane.